Woo, checky. Well, what's going on out there this fine Tuesday in MECA land? How's everybody doing this evening? I got my notification. I'm live and in color. Here I am. Oh, I'm all by myself. Ain't gonna come and see me? Come on now. So we're on here. I got a few little things to go over this evening. A couple things to talk about. Hopefully, it's doing what it's supposed to do here. Got my chat going. All right. I'm on it now. We're in there. So hope everybody's off to a good start to their week. Obviously, this is our live BudTalk live on Tuesday evening here at 8 o'clock. So I hope everybody's doing good. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Hopefully, here soon I'll be able to start getting some more videos and stuff going. What's going on, Pops, Miss Whitney, Mr. Joe? Um, I plan on starting to post some videos again on YouTube and TikTok once things settle down here a little bit. We've been pretty busy running around like chickens with our head off and stuff. Obviously, the season's in full bore. Been trying to chase doll hairs. Uh, I don't know, handling stuff at the house with the family. So, you know, the video stuff kind of got put to the side, but we're working on getting that going again. I was working on a couple today. So hopefully we'll get some more. Yeah, Aaron, come on, buddy. Anyways, hopefully we'll be able to get some more videos going on the TikTok and YouTube. What's going on, Mr. Martin? Obviously, I go live. I throw up some reels. So make sure you follow our TikTok, like and follow and subscribe on YouTube, and make sure you like and follow the main MECA page here on Facebook. And with that said, I guess I'll start off this lovely Tuesday evening here with upcoming events for this weekend. Going on, Mr. Conehead. So those of you that are going to get out to some events this weekend, let's see what we got coming up. It looks like Saturday, May the 3rd, we got an event there in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's going to be a 3X sound quality event. It's a sound quality only event, sound quality and install. Your sound quality judges are going to be Tony Pasquale, Mr. Steve Head, and I think Mr. Pop Spalding will be attending. So get out there and check those guys out. Get your points together. We're going to be uh, obviously in Birmingham with everybody this year. So um, Tony got that together for you guys, and we got that event coming at you Saturday in Pigeon Forge. What's going on, Mr. Milani? How you doing this evening? And then let's see what else we got going on. Also at the Pigeon Forge event, cut Mr. Pop's a little break. I think he's going to be, getting some training refreshments and stuff like that from Mr. Tony, working with Tony, so he can better serve his sound quality folks in Tennessee. So it's always one of our judges that wants to continue training in that area and be able to get. So let's see, May 3rd, Sound Solutions 7.0. That's going to be a 3X event hosted there in Greenville, Michigan. Mike Smith and the crew will be out there heading that one up. It's always a great show there in Michigan, usually one of the bigger ones. So, all my Michigan guys heading out, hope you guys have fun, make it big, and let it bang. Let's see here. And then following the weekend or ending the weekend out here, we're going to start Saturday with a new Fat Farm location, Fat Farm, Ohio. It's going to be a 3X hosted in Lockburn, Ohio. So Shannon and I'll be out there hosting that event. I think we're going to have some raffles, some 50/50s. Gate fee and camping fee is handled by the property owners there. If I remember correctly, I know the gate fee's $10. If I remember right, I think tent camping or camping was 25. But I tagged Mr. Derek Weber in a post earlier. You might want to double check with them. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but they'll be camping. Shannon and I'll be there in the camper. We're going to have Miss Melissa Hall up from Alabama. I think I got Joe and Chad coming in. So we should have a pretty good crew of judges with us. We're going to try to get Miss Melissa trained up and get her going, get her ready. I think she's already got some shows ready to throw at you guys. So we're going to get her trained up, at least for all the sound pressure and dueling demo stuff. And hopefully by the end of the weekend, we'll have a new 3X certified sound pressure judge. And then we'll work on getting the sound quality stuff going here sooner than later. But come out, have some fun. I think we're going to celebrate Melissa's birthday too. I don't know. Her birthday was Monday, so happy birthday to Melissa. And then Sunday we'll be back at the Fat Farm there. So it's going to be a 3X followed by a 2X. Fat Farm, Ohio. So come check it out, camp out with us, hang out. What's going on, Mr. Clark? Well, it might just be my internet too. I don't know. I've been having some problems with the router. I finally figured it out, but our weather is also it's kind of getting ready to get bad, I think, a little bit, but we're getting ready to have some storms probably, so the clouds and stuff are up, but I don't know that should really be affecting it right this second. So again, we've got, I think, 4 events coming at you guys this weekend. Sound Solutions 3X. It's a full 3X there in Greenville, Michigan. Like I said, always a great show. Get out there and see Mike and the crew. Get your points together. Sound quality and install, that'll be handled by Tony, Steve, and Pops. And then the Fat Farm, Ohio event Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's a 3X, Sunday's a 2X. Should be a pretty good weekend of shows. Looking forward to seeing some good scores this weekend. As always, everybody heading out to the events this weekend, I wish you good luck, high scores, and safe travels. Even if you're just going to any event, be safe out there and good luck. Like I said, Shannon and I'll be hanging out there at the Fat Farm, Ohio, and we'll be looking forward to seeing everybody else at some of these other events we got going. So I think that's pretty much the events we have coming at you guys this weekend. Like I said, Pigeon Forge, Ohio, and Michigan got it going on. I know Selena's working on getting some more stuff on the calendar this evening, hopefully. Quite a few Illinois events got posted in the last week or so. Those should be up on the MECA website here shortly. Finally got us some Kentucky events scheduled. So we've got 2 or 3 events scheduled there. Those should be going up tonight. I think I've got 2 of them on Facebook. I'm still waiting for one more flyer. So, Kentucky folks, we got some events for you guys coming. What else is everybody up to this evening? What we got going on? If I missed you saying hi, I'm sorry, but I think I got everybody that's commented anyways. I don't see everybody watching, but if you comment, I'll try to shout you out and say what's up. So if you guys got any questions, shoot them at me. I do have a couple of things that I was going to go over this evening. So now that we've finally got all of our rule books posted, I was going to talk a little bit about rules and the rule books here. Try to go over, what some of the changes might be and things of that nature. So, again, all the rule books are posted now. I know sound pressure, sound quality, dueling demos has been up for a little bit, but we've got the show and shine. We've got the show and shine thing up there now. So all the rule books are up on the website. Hopefully you guys have been reading them. But just a quick rundown, or the cliff notes, I guess you could say. Sound pressure rule book was more, basically trying to clean things up, fix some of the literature, the grammar, try to do away with anything that was contradictory, things of that nature. Didn't see a whole lot of changes or things that will really change, classing at this point. I guess some of the main notes would be we did add stipulations for world records. We started a world record program, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. Yeah, we put XM2 back to 10K. Clarified the center console thing in X class because that was kind of contradictory. Most of it was just clarity stuff. I mean, we discussed some other things that might come in the future, but either way, not anything too crazy. I don't think nothing anybody's going to have to rebuild their car over or anything like that. So that's always a good thing. I guess another main take or a note from something we did change, all protests at 4X and finals events will be made by a committee of judges. It's not going to be laid onto one guy. So that was one change that, we made that's notable. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that was too serious and sound pressure here. I'm kind of going through it. But like I said, I'm pretty positive the majority of it was mostly clarity stuff and making sure the wordings were correct and things like that. What's going on, Mr. Solons, Mr. Rick? How you guys doing this evening? What's going on, Mr. Andy? How you doing, buddy? Joe might have something to add to the sound pressure stuff. I've been having a guest, and then I kind of blew it this week and forgot to ask somebody until late this afternoon, and I decided rather than trying to put somebody on the spot, I'd just start over again next week. Like I said, I've been kind of running around like a chicken with my head cut off the last few days. What's going on, Mr. JC? So I threw this together kind of quick in the last 30 minutes, And not that we didn't need to talk about it anyways, but what's going on, Mr. Ball? Yeah, there's not very many pictures, unfortunately. I mean, I've got a couple, and we've talked about adding some pictures and things like that. But I might eventually be able to get Selena to help me with that stuff. But I'm not really very great on the computer stuff. I know just enough to mess it up. So I can do my videos and things like that, but the artwork and making pictures and things like that, I haven't. I don't know if I have the patience for that yet. But anyway, so sound pressure, we kind of went over that. Dueling demos, nothing super major there. We clarified some things about where equipment is and things like that. We changed some of the scoring again. I know a lot of guys didn't like, you know, the word song choice on the score sheet, even though it really didn't have a lot to do with, whether or not the judge liked the song or not. I know that that's what a lot of people thought. So we changed that to musical display, and we, kind of reworded the definition of it there in the rule book. So instead of song choice, now you have musical display. What's going on, Matthew? Um, we also added 2 minute rounds instead of a minute and 30 seconds to give people maybe a little bit more song selection on songs that, kind of ramp up. That's how you let the beat build. Oh. And then we also added a single position class geared more towards, like our stunt wall style builds and things of that nature. Um, Basically, single position for now, it's only 3 classes, and we're using the same score sheet as we use in dueling demos. Um, yeah, I think we can do that, but I mean, we got to do what the rule book says for now. But I do think that's something that we'll talk about. I also think that we'll probably be moving how far we listen to it. But the single position thing's all a work in progress for us at this point. So we're just getting started on that, and we'll, obviously by the end of the year, we'll know how to build it a little bit better for you guys next year. Because I think currently we're doing 15 feet off the front bumper or the rear bumper, and I think we'll probably end up going to about 25 feet. But this is all stuff for the future. The rule book kind of says what it says for now. We won't change it in the middle of the year. So it's 2 minute rounds. We added the 3 single position classes. I've also got a little RC car that's been running open class, so we might see something for RCs if I see a few more of those start showing up. Other than that, I don't think there was anything too serious in dueling demos either that would, force people to rebuild or get themselves reclassed. Like I said, just mostly some more clarity on what was there. Let me see here. Yeah, I think we did change the work and stuff. Official there. Changed the wording for you guys on the horns and tweeters deal. I guess one of the other big changes was there's that are mounted, uh, you know, other than as speakers now. Um, Other than that, no big changes going on there. Let's see here. Sound quality rules again. not a whole lot of change there. The biggest thing, or the thing that I took note of the most, was we did adjust our linearity section and our listening level down to 105 dB. So that was, one of the big changes there. I think we also maybe did a little work on the kick panel sizes, and if I remember correctly, modified streeters. I think I might be a little off on that, but we did do that. Yeah, doing demos, we made some clarity on the trunk lids and basically made it fair for everybody, so everybody can mount stuff to the, lid of their trunk or the hatch of their vehicle now. So that was another thing that we did. Thanks, Chadwick. Show and shine rule book. So all my show and shiners, we finally, we've been doing some work on it over the last 2 years, but I got Mr. Wayne. He's been a car show judge for several different several different clubs and things like that at regular car shows, and he helped me, basically helped us overhaul the whole show and shine rule book. I think we made classing a lot simpler. We added a street division. We did away with some classes. But again, like I said, I think it's going to be a lot easier to classify vehicles, a lot easier to understand. And we added a street class, which has been a request for a long time. So basically, at this point, what we got going on is street, which will be domestic street, import street, Euro street, truck street, SUV van street. So that's your street classes. And then we've got the mild classes still. So you got your domestic mild, your import mild, Euro mild, truck mild, SUV van mild. And then we've got our wild classes: domestic, import, Euro, truck, SUV, wild. And then we've got vintage class, vintage car, vintage truck. Then we've got motorcycles, bicycles, MECA kids, show and shine, which would be Power Wheels or similar 12-volt vehicle, 12-volt operated vehicles. And then obviously we've got the open class, which is basically ATVs, razors, golf carts, all that good stuff. So we narrowed it down a little bit, and then gave us a street class. So for more, some more of the street type cars that just have a few simple things done to them, we have a class for those folks now, so they don't feel like they're up against a bunch of modifications and stuff. So I believe we also changed the judging thing just a little bit. Majority of it's pretty much the same. So basically, judging criteria: all vehicles are judged on cleanliness and attention to detail. Modifications are only taken into account in classifications and scoring for integration of aftermarket equipment and consistency. If there's no modifications, we're basically scoring the vehicle on its accuracy of showroom condition instead of the integration of the aftermarket equipment. So like I said, a little bit simpler, a few less classes, but we've also, I think, given with the street classes, given a lot more folks a place to play. Let's see here, how my chat's doing. What's going on, Miss Carter? I've been working on a video for for the North Dakota show. We got a show coming up in North Dakota. So I've been working on that. Hopefully I'll get it out to you guys, or at least get it to Shannon here sometime tomorrow. Yes, single cab trucks with build behind the B pillars are still in modified street. I think I'm caught up here. Just holler at me anytime, Mr. Milani. Anybody else? Anybody got any questions so far? Any questions? Any ideas? You guys got questions for me about the rules while we're talking about them? I did see the single cab truck question, but yes, those are still modified street. Essentially, if there's no back seat, it goes into modified street. Every great once in a while, you might see one that has a under seat box or something like that run street. But I mean, I believe technically the way it reads is it has to the equipment has to be behind the back seat, unless, let me double read here so I can not give anybody the wrong information. But I can tell you for sure, if the back seats and stuff don't function, yes, it's absolutely modified street. Yeah, so pretty sure the way I interpret it at this point, unless we accidentally left something in there. Do 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 do. Do do do. Yeah, vehicles must have a fully functioning OEM backseat. Backseat must operate in all positions. Vehicles that do not have a backseat fall into modified street. And let me see if it still says in here. Yeah, so there is a stipulation in here that basically says for a truck to compete in street class, it must have a fully functioning back seat or jump seats. Introduction of modified street creates a class for vehicles that are built to the B pillar, like trucks and hatchbacks. Uh, it is conceivable that an avalanche or a ridgeline could still meet the back seat requirement with all their equipment mounted in the bed due to special design of those vehicles. So, yeah, essentially, there's not a real good way to get a pickup truck into street class, unfortunately. So, matter of fact, now that I read how that is, it probably needs to be reworded a little bit. But either way, the way I interpret it is the equipment needs to be behind the back seat. I, I, I'm not limiting the voltage that you run in your Power Wheels. I was just using that for reference. There's not a rule in there that covers that, Nathan. So basically, if it's a Power Wheels or a kid's powered toy, type of thing, it can run in the kids show and shine class. We're not going to be, checking voltage on them and things of that nature. All right. Anybody else got any other questions so far? Any questions so far? Going once, going twice. All right. Well, see what else I got to go over here. So I did go over the rules just a little bit. I didn't go into a whole lot of detail because they've been posted for some time. I went into a little bit more detail on the show and shine stuff because I just got it up there. I was kind of hoping a lot of folks would have had a chance to read the rule books by now, and maybe they'd throw some questions at me. But if you do have questions, go ahead and shoot them. Now that I've covered the little rule sections and the notes that I took real quick before I got started, um, world records. So we've always kind of had world records. However, they were always the score that was done Sunday at World Finals. Um, and then the world record would reset, and the only time you could set another world record was next World Finals on Sunday. Um, so we decided this year we wanted to actually do a world record program. So now you can set a world record at a 4X or at World Finals. Um, so the subjective listening classes and things like that are going to be a little bit tougher. Um, I might still, kind of award a record score for that, but until we have a really good understanding and have things working correctly and we can lay it out, I probably won't say that those records will stand forever. As we, some of those classes are still undergoing changes and things like that. I mean, all of our classes do. However, for sound pressure, park and pound, your X classes, world records can be set at 4X and World Finals events. You will be required to back up the scores. The world records will not reset every year. They will have to be beaten. So once you set a world record, it is the world record until somebody beats it. Unless we change the rules in a manner that we think that, inhibits or hinders the competitor from being able to do said world record. We might archive them at that point and start over. But I think we're progressed enough in our rule set that the world records can stand until somebody breaks them. I don't think there's a whole lot left we can do to allow or disallow that would hinder scores in most of our classes at this point. And I know some of you will prove me wrong, and I probably prove myself wrong if I really started. But uh, at this point, that's my plan. We're going to keep them until somebody beats them. You'll have to back the score up. So basically, you do the score, you'll have to do it again, and then we will essentially, I think what we'll do is the lower score would end up being the one that gets taken as the world record. So, just for an example, if you do a 55 and then you do a 54.9, the 54.9 would be the world record. Obviously, in all of our clamp classes that are rated at a 6,000 pressure rating or lower, we've gone to the basically not single conductor, but we allow 4 conductors. So, but basically 1 amp or a strapped pair. So we will be using the term lab and the clamping mechanism on that for your output power. something that I guess we've been battling for some time, and part of the reason why we went to um, Josh Cole. Did you? All right, I'm stopped for a second on the world records. That's a good try, buddy, but I just said out loud, if the vehicle did not come with back seats, it goes in modified street. It has to have a back seat to compete in street class. Period. The end. So that's the answer to that, Josh. If you had a 70s model four-door pickup truck with a bonus cab that didn't come with seats, it would go into modified street. What's going on, Mr. Cash, Mr. Pasquale, Mr. Harrod? All right, back to the world record stuff. So, with all that said, world records will stand until they're broken. You'll have to back them up. The lower score of the two will count. You'll have to undergo a vehicle inspection after you set the record. We'll be checking to make sure all of the rules have been followed, that the I lost my train of thought. I see your question, Michael. Sorry. But anyways, you'll have to undergo a vehicle inspection. We'll make sure all the vehicle rules were followed, things of that nature. What's going on, Mom? How you doing? No, you're fine, Josh. I'm just giving you poop, man, because you were giving it to me, so I was handing it back. Right. Well, at 4X events and finals, we're always the ones that host 4Xs right now. And so currently that's the way it is until we change it. Um, let's see, Mr. Solons, I'm going to go ahead and answer you so I can try to get my train of thought back here. But no, I don't have a location for base giving yet this year. You might want to get with Chad. Some of the other states do them as well, but if you want to do one there in Indiana, get with Chad, and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to set it up. I thought we had a great time there last year, so let us know, man. Um, you can hold more than one world record. At this point, yes, myself or Shannon will be present. We're the ones that host all the 4X events, and I hope I'll be at all of them and finals. So, yes, that is correct. Yes, you can hold more than one world record. Obviously, you can't run more than one street class at one show. So, if you wanted to do more than one world record, you have to go to multiple events to accomplish that. But getting to what I was talking about there with we use the clamp power and everything under the 6,000 watt cap on the pressure rating. We've gone to the basically 1 amp or a strapped pair. And then, in our 10,000 watt pressure limit classes, we do still allow multiple amplifiers. But something that I think, it's prevalent. We've been fighting with it a long time, is the whole clamp thing. And that's kind of the reason why we went down to the 1 amp and all this and that. And, I argued with them and told them I didn't think it mattered. And I got my reasons. But anyways, so what we're going to start doing with that is we're going to use the term lab measuring system, and that's going to be, essentially what dictates everything. But when you want to set a world record, you have to inform the person in the lane. And then here's going to come this guy with his flukes, right? And what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to clamp your input. So I'm going to clamp your DC draw, and I'm going to check your voltage. So I'm going to have my voltmeter set on minimum and my amperage set on maximum, and I'm going to be clamping your input. Amplifiers aren't 100% efficient. I'm fully aware of that. But I can tell how much power got input and how much power got output. It's going to basically be at my discretion whether I certify your world record or not based on that. I'm just basically overhearing about the clamp stuff, and that's what we're going to do. So, I think the Term Lab is the standard. We've been using it forever. It's one of the greatest pieces of equipment I've ever used. There's other stuff out there, but that's what's been the standard for a long time, and we're gonna keep on keeping it that way. So for now, I'm gonna be clamping input and output. And basically, like I said, I'll be looking at what the difference is. And if I think it's too far apart, then we'll have a problem. And not a problem that I'm going to call anybody a cheater or anything like that. It's just that in order to get your world record certified, I need to be happy with those numbers. So it's going to kind of be my discretion at this point. But I'm sure by the end of the year, I'll be able to tell you exactly what my discretion is. Most of your Class D amps are between 70 and 80% efficient. A lot of your AB amps are, 40 to 60. So I'm not looking for it to match perfectly. There's going to be, there is a, what do you call it? I'm looking for the word. Help me out. What's going on, Jimmy? Mr. Simone. But anyways, there's going to be a discrepancy, I guess. That's the best way I can put it. And, for most amps, it's going to be around 30%. If you've got Class A, B or whatever, I guess basically if it starts getting 40, 50, 60% away from each other, then that tells me something ain't right. So we'll just leave it at that. And like I said, I'm not looking to call anybody out or do anything with that. It's just that I'm not going to certify your world record. It's not going to be a part of regular runs. It's not going to be a part of winning or losing at world finals currently. But if you're trying to set a world record, I'm going to be clamping the DC input and the voltage to the amp. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't mean to click that one. Not currently, Nick, but I do have a list of them. I could probably post those up for you. I do have a list of them, but it's not currently on the website, unfortunately. If you're at World Finals, you know what? I mean, I know I just said that it wouldn't be mandatory, but generally on Sunday, those were the world records. So maybe I just treat every run Sunday like a world record, and then if they don't beat the current world record, they go on. I know it'll take a little bit longer to back up scores and things like that. So I'll have to do some thought on that a little bit, Chad. Because I really would kind of hope that the folks that really want to do it would maybe do it on Saturday. Or maybe we should just make it mandatory Sunday. I don't know. Maybe we need to discuss that a little bit before I talk about how World Finals will work. But for now, I mean, now that you say that, I kind of feel like maybe that is how it should go. So basically, after qualifying on Sunday, when it's the top three, we'll just treat everybody like they're getting ready to set a world record. And if they break the world record on their first run, then we'll give them their backup pass, um, and go from there. So maybe we will treat it like that. I meant to talk about World Finals. I didn't talk about it yet, Josh, but I announced sound pressure location last week. Um, I'm I'm waiting on Selena to get it posted on the website, and then I'll make an official post. And hopefully that'll be done tonight or tomorrow. But Sound Quality World Finals is going to be in Birmingham, Alabama at the Jefferson Convention Center, October 11th and 12th. That's Sound Quality World Finals back in Birmingham. Sound Pressure World Finals will be in Bedford, Indiana at the Lawrence County Fairgrounds, November 15th and 16th. So Sound Pressure Finals is going to be in Bedford, Indiana at the Lawrence County Fairgrounds, November 15th and 16th. And if I'm not mistaken, Josh, that'll probably be closer to you than any of them's been in a while. So Chad helped me out there. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it. I guess basically they can do their run like normal on Sunday, or if they choose to do a world record, then we'll go through with the clamp stuff. Um, so that works for me. That's probably the simplest way. And no, I won't have a separate term lab. It'll just be they'll be getting done on the same one. All right. So I think I went over most of what I wanted to go over there um, for tonight. Did anybody have any questions about the world record stuff? I know I stumbled on part of it there, but I think we have it figured out. Basically, for world finals, if you're in the top three, at that point, you'll be able to elect whether or not you want to set a world record. If you want to set a world record, then uh, you'll have your input clamped as well as your output. And if you do set a world record or you break the current world record, you'll be allowed to back it up. And the lower score will count for the world record. And your first score will count for world finals. So you can't go do a low score and then turn around and do a high score, is what I'm saying. Basically, your first score is your world final score. At least I think that's how it should work. Milani, I've been testing this stuff for a long time. All right. I do believe the kickoff score should be there. Um, the points and standings on the website have several people with points listed. That's because some people come to shows and don't run the cars, but they do have to be present and they do have to be driving a vehicle they own. But there, you can go to a show and buy a score sheet and elect not to run. Uh, a lot of people use that loophole, but you know, but the points as far as the kickoff show, I believe they should be fixed. If you're still not seeing it correctly, let me know and I'll try to get in there and fix it. Um, but anyways, I guess technically, if you want to look at it, like buying points, I guess technically that's what it is. But um, I can't dictate whether or not somebody runs the car or not. Yeah, basically, yes, Michael. They have to do it twice. Yeah, and also sometimes that happens too. One of the shows did get shut down, and people decided to just take zeros instead of getting refunds. So that happened. And then I do believe there's been a handful of people that were at the events and they drove a different car or something and they got score sheets and then they just took zeros. But the competitor does have to be present at the event. And then back to this one. So if someone goes for a record and beats that on the first run, they have to run again to prove the first one. Essentially, yes, Mike. Um, but the whole being present and getting points thing is really supposed to be for folks that maybe their system breaks or they have some sort of issue. But people do take advantage of that, and that is kind of what it is. Um, 0 point scores don't count for points championships. They only count for finals qualifications and run orders. So um, there is that little tidbit also. So basically, once you have enough points for finals, it's kind of silly to do that anyways because they're you know not that some people might not, but just putting that out there. Looking forward to it, Mr. Jeremy. All right. What else we got going on? Anybody else got any questions for me this fine Tuesday evening? All right. So one more time here. Sound quality finals, Birmingham, Alabama at the Jefferson Convention Center, October 11th and 12th, with Iasica, Emma, Mass Q. Sound pressure finals, Bedford, Indiana, Lawrence County Fairgrounds, November 15th and 16th. Um, we have 4 events coming at you guys this weekend. Sound Solutions 7.0 in Greenville, Michigan. That's a 3X. Pigeon Forge Sound Quality Only event. Sound quality and install will be offered. Tony, Steve, and Pops will be your judges. Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And then we have a 3X Fat Farm, Ohio, and those are all coming at you on the 3rd of May, which is Saturday. And then Sunday, we'll follow up the Fat Farm event with a 2X there on Sunday. I talked about rules a little bit, went over kind of what we changed and stuff. If you guys got questions, you can ask them. I talked about the world records and kind of the process I'm going through to certify those records. I do have a list of world records. I guess I could go ahead and tell everybody what the current records are, I suppose. I've only had one record that got set. I think we've had 3 people attempt and one that got broken so far. Uh, give me just a second and I'll give you guys a list of it here. And I'll try to actually post the list at some point or get it. I really would like to get it added to the website as soon as possible, but we're still going through some stuff there. I've still got some stuff to pay for before we can get it 100%. But we're getting closer, and it shouldn't be too much longer. Let's see, where'd it go? Where'd you go? Here we go. I hear my dog crying. Come on, phone. Oh, I can't see it. All right, hold on. I'm going to find it. I got to go find it in my... Give me just a second here. Sorry, y'all. Do 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 do. Boom boom. I must have lost it somewhere. I thought it was in my sheets, but it's gone. Where did my list go? Well, I guess I'll just look it up on here. So basically, I guess the world records are actually on the website now that I think about it, but except for the new one that just got set. So basically, if you go on the website right this second and you go to the event schedule and go to view all and then go to 2024, you can go right to last year's World Finals. And the Sunday scores from World Finals are the current world records, all except for, I'm pretty sure, Modified Street 1. So I think we had 3 attempts so far at a world record. So yeah, if you just go to World Finals from last year, and like I said, the only one that's gotten set so far, I have a Google sheet somewhere, but I can't find it right this second. But anyway, Street 1's a 24 and some change, Street 2's a 53, Street 3's a 54.4, Street 4's a 59.8, Trunk 1's a 56.5, Trunk 2's a 59.3. MS1 was broken at the last 4X, and it's a 54.57, I believe. MS2 is a 56.3. MS3 is a 54.5. MS4 is a 62.4. M1 is a 93. M2 is a 58.8. M3 is a 59. M4 is a 68. M5 is a 75.1. XST1's a 60.4. XST2's a 63.1. XMS is a 61.7. XM1 is a 61.3. XM2 does not have a current world record because we just put a 10K cap on it. Extreme class currently is a 68.03. DB1's a 28.4. DB2's a 32.3. DB3's a 35.4. DB4's a 36.9. And DB5 is a 37 or a 39.7. And let's see. I don't think anybody ran Street 5 at finals, so no, there's not currently a record in Street 5, and nobody set one at the last show. So whoever wants to do a score in Street 5, you can set a record. It doesn't cost anything extra, but you can do it in any 4X or World Finals. So all right. Anybody else got any other questions for me right this second? Anybody got questions on the world record stuff? Yeah, make sure your memberships are up to date. I can't backdate them any farther than 2 weeks, so make sure you get your memberships going. You do have to be a member to set a world record. Other than that, like I said, there's just a backup run involved. And like I said, you'll have to meet our little criteria there, but you know, that is correct. There's not currently a Street 5 world record, so it's ripe for the picking. All right. I appreciate everybody coming on and hanging out with me this evening. It's been pretty good. Went a little bit quicker than I thought it would. I didn't know I had enough stuff to talk about with you guys. It's been a while since I've been on by myself. I was kind of scared. So I'll give you guys just a few minutes to wrap your heads around all that stuff. If you got any questions, make sure you shoot them now. I'll do my best to answer you. Went over final stuff. Went over the events for the weekend. Went over the rule books and also the new world record program for sound pressure. So hopefully we can start setting some records here at our 4Xs. I'll be looking forward to it. We did put that in the rule book this year. And then also, I think, like I said, I already said that, Chad. We did lower the XM2 limit back down to 10K. So the current XM2 world record is basically reset at 0. So whoever wants to set that one, basically, I think Street 5 and XM2 are the only ones that don't have a current record. And then there's a couple in there where folks just kind of did what they, did whatever they needed to do to win. So maybe we'll alleviate that a little bit because folks will want to try to set records at finals. And like I said previously, the records all came from finals, but we wanted to do something where, basically the record will stand until somebody beats it, unless we do something to the rule set that hinders your ability to be able to break that record. So, I think that should handle that part of it. Any other questions? Any other questions from you guys before I start doing the end of the end, I guess. I will say, just as another small tidbit while I'm kind of waiting to see if there's any other questions, just kind of the state of the club and stuff. I'm really excited about this season. The first few shows have went off pretty good. We're seeing a lot of new faces, a lot of new members, a lot of old faces, old members. A lot of positive things happen in the growth sector of MECA. We've got more stuff coming, hopefully. Like I said, we just got a director there in Alabama, so hopefully we can get Alabama and that area popping a little bit better. Obviously, all of our judges that were already in place, doing a good job so far this year, and the shows are looking promising. And I'm really looking forward to the season. We finally got finals figured out. We've had some challenges, some struggles this last year or so, with family things and changes in life and, all that good stuff. But we're keeping on it and still, trying to keep our face on this grinding wheel and, keep doing better for you guys. I made a pretty long post after the Indiana 4X. I was really impressed with the turnout, the way the weather was. Got to see a lot of old faces that they helped us come up in Indiana. There, I mean, that was the first place where we had shows in Indiana. At least myself and Shannon. A lot of those guys helped us, build what we built, and just overall, I have a very positive outlook on this year. And I'm hoping the competitors do as well. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of good stuff. Just have to put a bunch of money into the car to get the record. I don't necessarily think that's true, Ken. But I mean, it isn't never going to be, free, but time will beat money. And if I've said that once, I've said it 1,000 times. The hard work and dedication means more than the money put in. I know, some people don't believe it, but it is what it is. I mean, heck, even though, like I said, it's never going to be free, but you can definitely beat money with time. But you got to do one or the other, or do both. It's the people that do both that's a problem there. But at the end of the day, it's really just about having fun. If you're having fun and you're happy, that's what counts. And it also doesn't mean you can't come and compete and have fun, and you might not go home with some trophies here and there, especially on the local level. At the end of the day, it's all about having fun and learning. And, that's my outlook on it. Even though, I might be somebody that used to be loud or whatever, my outlook is it's about the fun and the camaraderie and all that good stuff. It took me a long time to get that state of mind. But, I guess time is money. So, I guess you're right there. Um, I think he's talking about, the deadener and all that good stuff like that you have to put into the car. And, sometimes you might be right. There's not really much ways around that. But like I said, if you're having fun and you're learning, that's what counts. You can't get so, if you know that you're not given a disadvantage from the rule set. You're basically at a disadvantage from, a standpoint that learn, have fun. And then when it's your turn, or you can get those upgrades, or you can do those things that you think are, holding you back, then, that's when you'll catch up and it'll be your turn. I mean, shoot, none of us started out being the loudest. I mean, you know, I think I was doing 139s or 140s when I first started, and I was getting beat by 13 or 14 dB for like a long time. So I mean, I feel the pain. I understand where everybody's coming from on that, but at the end of the day, like I said, have fun at it, and I think you'll find yourself being a lot happier. All right. Do you guys have any other questions for me there? I mean, like I said, the hobby's for everybody, man. You just got to learn and sometimes wait your turn. Keep on grinding, keep on learning, keep on trying. I mean, my favorite words as a competitor, as a person that came up out of the dirt basically in this hobby, like can't never could, y'all. Can't never could. And that's for a lot of things in life. Can't never could. Remember that. What's going on, Mr. Peach? What's your question, buddy? I'm waiting for you, Peach. You can only bring one of those if it's one of those ones that does the little thing where it's like Duke and passes out. I will gladly accept one of those. All right. Yeah, a fainting goat. That's it. That one. That's the one. All right. So Mr. Peach got the question for me, so I'm waiting for him. I think I've answered everybody else's. Let's see. Um, I don't think so, Peach. Let me read exactly how it's worded at this point, but I'm pretty sure the answer to that's going to be no. And I'll pull your question up here. Just let me look real quick here. Okay. Yeah, so it if you remove the screen where it used to be, let's see. Where's the first question? Here we go. So door panels on a Yukon or Tahoe where the factory location, can 2 6.5 still be called street? You can't cut stuff out. And if you're talking about those pods that mount over top, then you're not allowed a molded pod on the door. So I'm going to say the answer is no. Um, and we actually kind of clarified that a little bit better in the dueling demos rule book in the street class definition. So basically, it now says all speakers must be in factory locations. So, you know, if it's not in a factory, basically the only thing that's not allowed, that is allowed to not be in a factory location, is the set that you're allowed in the trunk area. So everything else has to be a factory location. Um, unless you have like a tweeter or whatever that you can have mounted on the door, but all of your speakers have to be in a factory location. No, it's always the top of the seat line right now. So no, it goes by the seat height. We don't do anything with the window lines. Right now it goes by the seat height. 1 foot from the headliner is the rule in modified street. In street class, it's still the seat height. I do think that might eventually kind of grow together there, and we'll end up using with the same thing. I don't necessarily know. Let's see. No cutting or metal of plastic to house larger speakers in factory locations. So technically, that should be a no in street. What's going on, Kevy Kev? Well, I'm sure if there was a classification issue there, we can hopefully solve that and make everybody happy in that situation. Because we did pretty much clarify that in the off season, so now it's written a lot more strict than it was previously. We would have probably allowed that, but we reworded that and made it a lot more strict than it was for the street classes. So uh, heck, I could even made a mistake on that, and sometimes we overlook stuff even though we shouldn't. So if you want to send me a private message, or if you want to talk to the judge that was in charge at the event and have them contact me or whatever, hopefully we can resolve that. Obviously, we probably won't go back and really change results of events after they're already done, but we can definitely resolve it for the future and make sure that people are in the right place, because we don't want people showing up at the end of the year and getting told, oh, you can't do that. So I appreciate the heads up there, Peach, and we'll see if we can't get that figured out. Anybody else got any other questions for me this fine evening? All right, I'm not seeing anything right this second. Sorry, y'all. Um, like I said, I think I covered my list. So, one last time, everybody that's still hanging out here with me, I appreciate you. Make sure you like us up, follow us, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Send me stars, all that stuff. Um, I appreciate everybody watching this evening. Sound Quality Finals in Birmingham, Alabama, Jefferson Convention Center, October 11th and 12th. Sound Pressure Finals, Bedford, Indiana, Lawrence County Fairgrounds, November 15th and 16th. 4 events coming at you guys this weekend. May the 3rd, Saturday, you've got Sound Solutions in Greenville, Michigan, 3X. You got a Pigeon Forge sound quality and install event in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That's a 3X. We got a Fat Farm, Ohio event in Ohio on Saturday that'll also be a 3X. On the 4th, which is Sunday, we have the second day of the Fat Farm, Ohio. That's a 2X. Talked about world records, talked about the rule books. We finally got some Kentucky events on the schedule. I think I should have a SVR post, a World Finals post, and something else coming at you guys soon on the main MECA page. The first 10 to park inside is everybody gets to park inside this year except people named Tony and P is their last name. So if your name is Tony with a P as the first letter of your last name, unfortunately, you got to park outside in the woods this year. But other than that, I think everybody will get to park inside. All right. Well, I've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. You guys are probably tired of hearing me babble. So you guys know the drill. Until next time, keep it loud and clear, MECA heads.